Cedric Mullins is a guy that had his name circulating big time. I know you liked having his name circulated in the Marlins brass. He probably doesn't get a return as big as Ketel Marte, but Cedric Mullins is definitely going to warrant some serious return.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is like, how many teams are willing to take? I don't even think it's a chance. Like, I'm very sold on Cedric Mullins' production. Like, I really think that he is for real. You see the tangible adjustment, that being that he literally stopped switch hitting from the side that he sucked from, and it's just focused on one swing. So he's a phenomenal center fielder. He just turned 27. He's a great athlete. And this is another dude, Jack, 3 years of control. So you're looking at massive value here too. Doesn't have the track record that Marte has, which is probably what impedes the value a little bit, but he's also still going to be cheaper under those 3 years because these are arbitration years. So he's going to be super, super cheap. Whereas Marte's 10 million. I mean, that's a steal, but it's still a chunk of change.
Yeah.
Cedric Mullins is dirt cheap. I love, I know the Marlins have been tied to him. So, that's obviously somebody that I think the Marlins have continued to look at. The Yankees in division, not happening. Like, who else is a target on your end that you think that makes sense for him? Because I think he's one of the more valuable trade assets too that we're going to talk about.
Yes, but he's also nowhere near as proven as a guy like Ketel Marte.
Oh, no, not at all. But he also plays good defense in center field, whereas Marte's doesn't play great defense, but he plays multiple positions. It's really interesting. It's a fluid situation. I agree Marte is more valuable. So who's looking at Mullins and who's willing to take that kind of chance? The Marlins, it makes sense. Take that kind of chance. You need bats that badly. Like, who else is willing to do that? The Yankees wouldn't do it. It's in division. Like, that's where I'm really looking at it. And I'm like, what other team? The Phillies, the problem with them, they don't have the means. I think the Phillies would do it. Dombrowski would liquidate if he could, but he can't. Like,
he would honestly go full-blown sports authority on the farm system. I mean, he would say everything must go. Stott, Abel, you want him? Let's go. Cedric Mullins is home.
Yeah, I guess could they do that? Could Stott, Abel, and like Alec Boehm get it done?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. 150% yes. I'm slamming the yes.
Dombrowski just heard this, like his ears just perked up. He's like, wait, I can trade guys away right now. Okay. He gets like a sick thrill of it. Just like, watch me dismantle this farm. Says, oh my gosh, I'm making a meme later. I got it. The SpongeBob where he runs to the rock and back? He's like, want to see me run to that rock and back? Want to see me do it again? Maybe that with Dombrowski. Want to see me dismantle a farm system? Want to see me do it again? Oh.
Hey, I've got the Leo quote here. It's The Revenant was the name of the movie.
The Revenant.
He was like with the bear and shit. And he said, quote, I ain't afraid to die anymore. I've done it already. That's Aram with the Dinger incident. Can't be canceled again. He's already been canceled. So honestly, with Cedric Mullins, I understand that the Orioles are in a similar situation to this team, but a team with a ton of prospect capital that I think could be interested in having 3 years of control of a guy like that would be Pittsburgh. To be totally honest, you pair him with Brian Reynolds and you give up some of those guys, but you also have a ton coming up very quickly. Henry Davis is going to be up probably 2023. Nick Gonzalez 2022. O'Neal Cruz 2022. Ke'Bryan Hayes is already up. He looks really good. I mean, I feel like a team like that could maybe make sense. It's not the best destination for Cedric Mullins. He wouldn't be happier, I don't think. But I think if you're the Pirates, I think Ben Cherington is the GM in Pittsburgh.
Yep, Ben Cherington is. Yep.
I think he's got to look at that and say, you know what, we can actually pull this off and it might actually be good for us.
That's a wild thought. You know what? And it's funny because I do think that there should be a little bit of a new approach to the way if I were a general manager, yes, I want to stockpile prospects. Like that's, when you're rebuilding, you want to have as many talented young players as you can. But, I've talked about this in the past, like it's a little bit dehumanizing, but you have to look at them as assets, right? If you're going to do your job properly, you have to look at them as assets because odds are you're going to trade some of them like the Padres did. And you got to make sure that you maximize those assets. Most of the time we see these teams usually hold on to their prospects and kind of see who pans out. And the thing is, let's say you have 5 top 100 prospects. We know all 5 aren't going to pan out. If you have one that you're feeling less confident about, like maybe you trade him and you, even though you're far off from competing, You go get a young controllable player that already is a little bit established, because instead you let said prospect flame out and now he has no value, and that just he kind of just disappears into the oblivion in terms of like the tangible asset. So I kind of like that approach. Another team that's a little bit similar to that I think is closer to competing, that I like to potentially make this kind of move, is the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what do the Orioles need? They need pitching. And I look at the Kansas City Royals. They have a few pitching prospects who have struggled, could use a change of scenery, still have value. I look at Daniel Lynch. I look at Jackson Kowar. That starts the deal. MJ Melendez, like, they don't want to move Salvi from behind the dish. They want to put Bobby Witt at third and Nicky Lopez at short. Like, they clearly are trying to do it now. So if you're going to displace some of your prospects, like, why not go kick it in and go make a move and stop playing Michael A. Taylor in center field and make him a fourth outfielder, because that's what he really is. That makes Kansas City interesting as hell. And you know what? I think that the Orioles would be interested in a package with some of the big league talent and some interesting prospects. And Melendez leading it with one of Kowar or Lynch or whatever, that gets it done, I think, with some complementary pieces.
Okay, so hear me out on this. You ready? Cedric Mullins goes to Kansas City for Daniel Lynch, Asa Lacy, and MJ Melendez.
Holy hall. I think that's too much.
That's too much? Okay, how about this? How about Daniel Lynch, MJ Melendez, Kyle Isbell?
Deal. I think that's a sick trade for both sides.
Isbell's fast as shit. He can.
Here's the problem, though. What are the Orioles doing with MJ Melendez?
Because you got Adley and you got Mountcastle at first.
That's the other problem. You flip them, 3-team trade this shit? Are we getting wild?
Do you like, I'm thinking Melendez, Adley, and Mountcastle is like a 3-man, just almost like a volleyball substitution. You just constantly alternate first base, DH, catcher.
Or you put Mountcastle back in the outfield, let him suck. And instead of Melendez, you get Nick Prado.
Oh. I don't know.
Like, we still saw him make 18 starts in the outfield.
What was Asa Lacy's walk rate, by the way? You just said that's too much, but I was just thinking his walk rate was like 80%.
Yeah, he also went to his fastball, I think 90% of the time when he was behind in the count. But he's disgusting. Like, his stuff is gross. It's an interesting spot. So that's the only issue is, like, what would they do with Melendez and Prado? But also at the same time, like, they're looking to stockpile guys. The weird part is, like, these guys are all close to big league ready. So maybe they're not the best partner, but I still think it makes sense. Also, a 3-team deal and something like that would definitely work because teams would be lining up. If all you had to do to get involved in a 3-team trade is, like, you give up some prospects and you can get Melendez, or you can get a higher caliber prospect, and then the Orioles get, like, that makes sense to me. We've seen it happen in the past. A little complicated, but they could find a way to make it work. Kansas City, I think, is a great target.
Listen, new rule. I'm taking over as commissioner after the lockout's over. If you have a trade involving 3 or more teams, Taylor Trammell has to be involved.
Yeah, he must be traded.
Somehow.
That poor guy
must be traded in a 3-way or 4-way deal. That's how that shit works now.
Do you think he's just numb to it?
I feel
he just doesn't even feel it anymore. They're like, Taylor, you got traded. And he's just like, all right, where am I going?
Yeah, I was just Airbnb-ing this place anyways.
Yeah, he does not trust anything enough to even lock in a lease for more than 2 months at a time.
Oh, God.
Poor guy.
So bad for him.
Any other targets, right? Nobody else that I really think could, like, go big time for him. Like, there's not that many other major fits.
Yeah.
I like Philadelphia. I think he's a perfect fit for Philly. So they've got to do that return we just said.
Yeah.
And now they actually have the worst system in the history of baseball.
Right. So, like, here's the thing. If they let Stott and Abel go, who's a worse system, the Phillies or the White Sox?
Dude, I think the Phillies.
They both suck. They're both gutted so hard.
The Phillies might be worse.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Sorry for you Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs fans out there.